Okay. Since it appears that we've escaped another hurricane season with no hurricanes, I think there's just a couple of weeks left, so it's unlikely. But anyway, you never know. So I want to read this one. It's called Place Where Whirlwind Lives. And it's kind of like this idea that, all these storms originate in West Africa, off the coast of West Africa. And, then they kind of make their way to the mid-Atlantic, and then from there, that's where they really catch, which coincides with the Middle Passage. Place where whirlwind lives. Where they end their spin, strip of soggy grass invaded by water, intercoastals sequestered by large glass sculptures, transparent in case of impermanence, sprouting like fire hydrants on Oya's cinnamon spine. This season, there have been 4 attacks bearing male and female names. When life begins here, ebb of memory from here, an immigration of pulse lashing at the lush green orange, honey dripping dreams, you should be lucid in your dreams. That's why you've come here, Camilo, Mr. Cartwright, Jean-Baptiste. Or perhaps it was vine of bitter momordica, cundiamor we call it, bitter for blood entwining past injuries. After all, more likely spirits encircled back home, danced and dressed, will come here too. Flora being the same Caribbean, same West African. She then gathered fallen leaves, fallen skin of chameleon, changed them to burnt words, perhaps vengeance for her children's capture. Whirlwinds keep coming, springing like incantations, projectile from which woman's hand, our mother, that even a king was born by a mother. From West Africa they depart, soft, soothing breezes looking for home, gather strength, pulse, whirl, dripping dreams into water, sucking you and me. Thank you. And I think I want to finish with this one. It's called When Hearing Bata Drums. So, when hearing Bata drums, for those of you who may not know, are bimembranous hourglass-shaped drums, which originate in West Africa, specifically Yoruba land, and migrated to Cuba, and then from Cuba to the United States and the rest of the Americas, for that matter. So these are a series of 3 drums played like this. One on, they have skins on both ends, and so there are 3 drums, and they each have different sizes, right? So they have different sounds to them, and the Bata ensemble here, at least in the Americas, there's 3 drums. Yoruba land is about 5 or 6 drums, but usually 3 drums. And each of these drums have their separate names, but the idea is that these 3 drums playing together, and they each have this conversation, all these drums together, as they're played at the same time, simultaneously. So there's a few proper names in here these were like the originators of, the ones who actually maintained the Bata tradition in Cuba, at least. There's one person's name here is Atanda. It's actually a Yoruba name. He's credited to be one of the first people to actually consecrate a set of Bata drums in Cuba. And he was actually a Yoruba slave in Cuba. So when hearing Bata drums, Atanda, they said, had the secret, wrapped in red cloth, to speak in goatskin, beat a message spiraling into sound straight to the ears which woke destiny. Red roosters, first flutter of wings, first cackle, not wake yet. the rise of early freedom. When he woke at 4 a.m., kneeled once on knee, leather strip in hand, reciting history, praise names to remind that we came from somewhere. When we entered our hollow tunnel, Atanda was standing at the end, hands calloused. When we heard the guttural sounds that the kikum, kakum, 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 kum, kakum, kum, kum, kakum, kakum, kakum. There was also Nyon Jose, Abankole, Akilakpa. When we wakened the Caribbean sun, these bata curved like hourglass speak because of tension on skin, squeezing the bandages of injured history. Once you fell a trunk, you must give it voice, bitter as cedar or sweet like almendra. Wrap it in red cloth, bury it deep within the trunk. Voice will echo from tunnel, out the bass and the other crisp, slapping and keeping time. Myriad of words impregnating rhythm in them, the flavor of who we are, our history, rhythmic, bitter and sweet, hard, but ours. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank Joe McNair, poet, novelist, MC extraordinaire, with wonderful cyan cloth. Mm-hmm. And
let me get you out of here with that.
Okay. So, give this man a hand for organizing all this, with the help of other people, I'm sure. But, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for sticking around. And I do